welcome to Magic the Amateuring's Top 10 Worst Cards for Sealed in Hour of Devastation.
That's right. This is a tradition of ours where before every pre-release, we let you know which cards you're going to be super bummed to see in that rare slot.
Look, a lot of these cards on the list you can make corner cases for. You could say, hey, if X happens and then X happens and then Y happens, this card is good.
That's right. But you know what? We're not looking for your Magic Christmas Land dream for these cards.
No.
We're saying when push comes to shove, what's practical and what's not.
Yeah, which cards are the most often likely to be the most often bad in your sealed deck? We're not talking about standard. We're not talking about modern. We're not talking even about vintage.
Nope, we're talking about nothing except that sick pre-release action.
All right, so let's get started with number 1 on our list.
Scavenger Grounds.
This is a land. It's a desert. You tap it to add colorless mana to your mana pool.
So far you're thinking, that's just a land. Why are you guys hating on this land so bad? First of all, it's a land that's in your rare spot.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's a land that also says, it has another ability.
Yes, it does.
2 and tap, sacrifice a desert, exile all cards from all graveyards. Do you know what? Maybe your opponent is playing some sort of crazy 6 cycling deck.
Yeah.
And you would just want to clear that thing out.
If they're playing a crazy 6 cycling deck or maybe a crazy 6 aftermath deck, I guess you got them.
Then maybe, yeah, you got them. But do you know what? You lost a land in the process.
Yeah.
And do you know what? The rest of this time, this card is just a stone cold bummer.
Yeah, it's going to wreck your mana. I'm not going to say it's going to completely destroy it.
No.
But it's always a risk that you've got to consider when you're playing your sealed pool. If you have the ability/room to put a land into your deck that taps for colorless.
That's right. And it doesn't tap for any spell that you're looking to cast that casts a colored type of mana. So, Scavenger Grounds, number 1, stone cold bummer.
Boo! All right. Coming in at number 2.
We've got Endless Sands.
But Megan, the sands are endless.
I know, and this is another desert, and the art is an A.
Yeah, the art's great.
By renowned artist Noah Bradley. This is, great.
Yeah,
art.
I love it.
Great art. Card? No.
No. Bumtown.com. Don't go there.
Anyone wants to Google that and send us a screenshot, we'll look at the screenshot.
What this land does is pretty similar to our previous land in that it adds colorless to your mana pool.
It's a desert. It says 2 and tap, exile target creature you control. Maybe you're thinking, hey, if my opponent targets it with removal, that's great.
I can save my bomb.
It. But do you know what? In order to get, it doesn't flicker it. In order to get that card back, or any other card that you exile with this, you have to 4 and tap, sacrifice it, return each creature card you exile with Endless Sands to the battlefield under its owner's control.
Yeah, so in order to save something, you've always got to have 2 mana available.
Exactly.
Which is not always the case.
And to get it back, you're paying a lot and you're sacrificing this land again.
Yeah, so corner cases where this can be useful, sure. But
are you
in your rare
excited to
slot,
have it as a rare?
No, you are not.
I know Glorybringer's not in this set, but give me a Glorybringer. Do we have a Riparian Tiger test for this set?
Yeah.
Should we just always continue to use Riparian Tiger?
He's like, what? Like, explain the Riparian Tiger test.
So, I think back in Kaladesh, which was around when we first did this, we had the test of, would I rather have this rare or just a Riparian Tiger?
Which is common, yeah.
Yes, it's a common.
And yes, I would.
Yeah, exactly. Scavenger Grounds, Endless Sands, both of them. I would rather have a Riparian Tiger.
Yep. Agree.
In that rare spot.
And I'm going to point this out real quick. There are a lot of cards in the set that do care about the fact that you have deserts in your deck. So they do go up a little bit in value in those cases. But
do you know what? There's tons of deserts that aren't rare, so you don't have to sacrifice an actual good rare.
Yeah, and they aren't total poo-poo like these ones.
Yes, exactly. Next we have Solemnity.
Okay, this is 2 and a white for an enchantment. Players can't get counters. Oh, good thing I'm playing against Infect. Counters can't be put on artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or lands.
Well, great.
Okay.
Yay.
So
maybe you're thinking, hey, if I play against a black deck that's putting -1/-1 counters on everything, great. Or my opponent has the Scorpion God, and now they can't put counters on my stuff. Great. But wouldn't you rather just have the Scorpion God?
I mean, I would.
Yes. Wouldn't you rather
Yeah.
just have a Riparian Tiger of 4/4 for 5?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
would. I would. So if you're playing black with this card, I suppose, and you have a lot of creatures that give themselves -1/-1 counters, I guess you kind of are getting it, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe you're doing great. But maybe you could also just put in a utility creature here.
Yeah, you could.
And be better for it.
You really could.
You really could.
All right, coming in at number 4 on our list of top 10 worst rares for sealed in Hour of Devastation.
It's a theme.
It's another desert.
This one is Hostile Desert. It's a land desert, adds colorless. 2, exile a land card from your graveyard. Hostile Desert becomes a 3/4 elemental creature until end of turn. It's still a land.
So, Megan, I
Yes.
mean, I get a free 3/4.
That's true if you've already cycled deserts.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And that's not
And-
the easiest thing in the world.
It's a 3/4. Maria,
Yeah.
this is nothing to write home about. Do you know what's bigger than a 3/4?
Riparian Tiger.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that you've got to be able to cycle your deserts, which, is a thing you can do in this set.
Absolutely.
But by the time you've cycled your deserts, by that point in the game, a 3/4 being able to get through for damage is a little unlikely.
It's just not gonna happen, really.
And then you get to activate it, 2 times at most for getting a 3/4?
Huh.
Just not into it.
Nope.
No.
Not digging it.
Hostile Desert, you're
More
out.
like hostile, never mind.
Hostile, never mind. A new card in the Nirvana set. Coming in at number 5, Swarm Intelligence. This one is maybe one of the biggest stinkers on our list, Megan.
6 and a blue for an enchantment. That's 7 mana.
It's a lot
How
of
much for
mana.
an enchantment? 7
7
mana.
mana.
Does it do anything the turn you cast it?
No.
No, it does nothing the turn you cast it.
Stone cold nothing.
Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Great.
Wow. Okay.
At 7 mana, I'm pulling cards off the top of my deck anyways.
Yeah.
I'm just like digging for whatever I can. Most of what's going to be in my deck are creatures anyways.
Yeah. It's like if I've held on the whole game to my final reward or something like that, and I'm like,
The whole
just get this swarm of
game.
intelligence out, and then I can play this and kill 2 things. And it's like, no,
you know what?
I'm already dead.
You're already dead. Or if you haven't had to cast it yet, you're doing fine.
Yeah, this card, real bad.
Wow.
Real bad. Do not play it.
No.
Don't fall for it.
Just beast. If you open it, make a frown. Don't turn it upside down. And move on to your next booster.
Coming in at number, what are we on? 6?
6, that's right. We have... This one hurts my heart.
Yeah, this was Megan's preview card.
It's my preview card. Do you know what? You can read, I wrote a whole article on it on Daily MTG about other places that this is good.
Yes.
Not in Limited. I wrote about a lot of places in Constructed where this is a card that you could play. Imminent Doom.
Oof.
Oof. More like an imminent doof.
Yeah, accurate. 2 in a red
yeah.
for another enchantment. Another kind of theme here. Enchantments and deserts. Imminent Doom enters the battlefield with a Doom counter on it, which
exciting.
sounds really cool. Whenever you cast a spell with a converted mana cost equal to the number of Doom counters on an Imminent Doom, it deals that much damage to target creature or player, then put a Doom counter on Imminent Doom.
Okay, so yes, you are getting extra damage. Yay. But you have to have enough 1 mana cost spells in your deck to even get this the first time. Because unlike As Foretold, where you keep putting counters on it on your upkeep, you only put more Doom counters on when you cast a spell equal to the number of counters already on it.
Right.
So in order to get it the first time, you have to have a 1 casting cost spell. Which is why I wrote about in Modern, everybody has 1.
Oh, yeah.
1 is
a
huge number in Modern. In Limited is not... It's not a real number.
No.
1 is
We're
not
not
a real
casting a
number.
lightning bolt. Let's
Not
just put it
really
that way.
a thing that you're doing. So Imminent Doom, just gonna are you gonna be able to get value out of it? Not often enough is the answer.
No. Imminent Doom will be coming your way if you decide to put this card in your deck.
That's right.
Coming in at number 7, it's another red card, Hazard's Undying Fury.
That's right. Do you know what? You look at this card and you're like, this card could be sick. Right?
Yeah.
Sorcery, shuffle your library, then exile the top 4 cards. You may cast any number of non-land cards with converted mana cost 5 or less from among them without paying their mana costs. Lands you control don't untap during your untap step. Okay, first of all, let's clear up that you're not paying 6 mana for this.
No.
You're paying 12.
Yeah. Your land's not untapping is a real cost, and you're going to need to pay it.
It's a really big cost. And it's there. You can't undo it.
Yeah, so you're paying 6 mana, and you're exiling the top 4 cards. Now, what does that mean? You better have 4 super 6 spells that you are casting for free in the top 4.
Do you know what? Honestly, at 2, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Fine. But you're not at all guaranteed to hit 2 usable things.
No, not at all.
At all.
I mean,
and like
worth
then,
it.
what if you hit 1 great creature and like 1 removal spell? Okay, you remove one of their things. You play this great creature. They kill your great creature, and then like you can't have the mana to cast anything next turn. Like you just die.
Yeah.
I can imagine so many scenarios where you cast this card and either it's bad because you are only seeing 4 cards. That's not many.
A lot.
That's not that many, especially in limited when you have it's so much about curve. You might hit stuff that it's like
I hit my 2-drop and 2 lands, and then a cancel spell, which is doing literal stone nothing.
Yeah, so it's like, and then or you hit like 3 great things, but you still die because you don't get another turn to cast stuff. Like you're taking 2 turns off. Not worth it. Not worth it.
Hazard's Undying Fury, good in Magical Christmas Land, bad everywhere else.
Correct.
All right, next up we have Hour of Promise. But Megan, this card says it's promising me everything.
Exactly. But Maria, it's a false promise. Oof. Just like
Nicol Bolas.
Just like Nicol Bolas. 4 and a green for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 land cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle your library. It's a little bit of ramp. Yeah. But that's never exciting.
I mean, it's already 5.
It's like fine. Exactly. It already costs 5 mana and it's getting you to 7. I mean, maybe if you're casting Sandworm Convergences.
Sure.
Anyways.
I'm probably just going to play a Riparian Tiger. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yep. At 5 mana, I would rather be casting a Riparian Tiger than this. Then if you control 3 or more deserts, create 2/2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Okay.
So presumably,
yes,
you're going to get 2 deserts.
Honestly, yes. And honestly, if you get 2 zombies, cool.
Yeah, then this card's fine.
But how many deserts do you have to play to already have 1 in play and then go get 2 more? The most important part being you have to have 1 in play.
Yeah, this is sealed, and you don't get to draft as many deserts as your little heart desires. You get as many as you open.
Exactly. And yeah, do you know what? This would help some with fixing, maybe if you have expensive splashes in your deck. You know, this is a format. Amonkhet was a format where you could play a lot of colors, and this would help with that. But do you know what? It's still just like, if you don't hit that desert before you cast this, you don't want to cast it. So you're just going to be holding it in your hand until you cast a desert, or until you hit a desert and play it. And then you can finally cast this. And even then, it's just sort of like,
I just want to Gift of Paradise.
2 zombies. Exactly. It's not like a Liliana's Mastery, which is giving you 2 3/3 zombies because it pumps them all.
No matter what, you get those.
And this is just like,
nope.
2/2 zombies.
It's
maybe
the conditional. What we call is a high setup cost, in that you already have to have a desert in play. You've got to have 2 more in your deck, and just putting 3 in your deck doesn't mean you're always going to have that first one on time for Hour of Promise. You've got to have a critical mass of deserts in order to make it worth it. And then your what's the story with your mana? It's probably terrible.
Again, do you know what? Sometimes it's going to be great.
All right.
Sometimes it's going to work out for you.
But most of the time,
a lot of the time, I think you're going to be holding this card in your hand, waiting to draw the first desert to play.
Yeah.
Where it's just not a place you want to be. Rhyminap Excavator, Maria, coming in at number 9.
This is a little 2/3 for 3, and you're saying to yourself, well, that's what I'm used to paying for cards.
But is that what you want as your rare?
No, it is not.
You may play land cards from your graveyard.
Okay.
Great. So what this card says is that if I had deserts and I cycled them, then I get to play those deserts.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Which is like,
cool.
Sure. At late game, maybe I'll get an extra land if I need one.
Yep.
If I cycled it early. But if I cycled it, maybe I found the land I needed anyway. So, I don't know. It's a 2/3 for 3, which is
why would you cycle it looking for a land? It is a land.
You know, if you're crazy.
Okay. Just making sure.
If early in the game you thought you didn't need one, later in the game you're like, oh, now I can't get to 5.
Yeah, right? Like, why did you cycle a land earlier?
Who knows? Look, I'm not you.
What were important. Anyways, 2/3 for 3 is just not where you want to be with your rares.
Thumbs down.
No, let me tell you.
Sorry, little snake friend.
About a 4/4 for 5. I'd rather be playing
the Church of Riparian Tiger.
Our 10th card is Fraying Sanity.
Fraying Sanity. Megan, my sanity is fraying just looking at this hunk of junk.
Correct. 2 and a blue. Enchantment Aura Curse. Enchant player. At the beginning of each end step, enchanted player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is the number of cards put into that graveyard from anywhere this turn.
Wow.
Don't mill people.
No,
There's
I mean,
never enough support.
it's just not going to happen.
There's never enough support. I've had so many people try and mill me, and do you know what?
You win.
It doesn't work, and I win.
If there is a mill deck in this format, I'm going to say it's going to have to be the most greatest deck that's ever
It
happened.
will happen to you once, ever.
And that's it.
If you're trying.
You've got to be all in.
You've got to be all in, and it's like a draft strategy, and we're
Yes.
talking about sealed here. And if you get the tools to make this deck, congratulations, but also
You've really
de-congratulations,
done it.
because this is one of your rares.
This being said, this list of top 10, I don't want to be all negative because it was some sets it's easier to find 10 poo-poo rares than it was in this set.
That's right.
There's a lot of really strong, amazing cards that you can open, and just because there's bad cards doesn't mean the set is bad.
Exactly.
We're just trying to help you
We're
out.
super excited. We're just letting you know how upset you should be if you open these cards.
But then you know what you do? You go to another pre-release,
Yep, you just sign up for another one.
and then you get some better ones.
That's what we do. Certainly what we do.